Oh my goodness. I haven't seen this man in months. He looks good. He looks the same, but I think he's ready. He's good to go because we all know the big one's coming up on Sunday. And man, anytime we can visit with our pal Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com, it's always a treat. Lee, great to have you back. And how are you? How you been?
I'm good. Great holiday, beautiful weather here in Miami.
Mhm.
Hasn't been too hot. I think we went something like 43 or 44 days where it did not reach 80. Never
Holy cow.
below like high 40s at night and in the mornings, and never above 80. So can't complain.
It's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
life in South Florida, right?
that's it.
Tough go, tough go.
In a
Now,
pandemic.
there you
In a
go.
pandemic.
Any plans for you to head out to Tampa for the game this
No,
weekend?
no, I planned on going, but once the pandemic hit, that ended all that, and just enjoy it at home with the family.
Beautiful. Now, catch me up on everything that's going on at ParamountSports.com. And, basketball season is going on right now. We've got college hoops, the NBA, and how things are going for you with the football season ending officially on Sunday.
So what's interesting was, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's because everything slows down once we get to the bowl games. But since the first bowl game, we've won 26 or 35 games here in football, which incredible run. So I'm even getting people telling me, when are you going to put up the link so we can renew? You usually don't get that. Usually the only time they talk about renewing is they want their money back if you have 2 losing weeks. So that's going great. We start off great in basketball. Then for about 5 weeks, we were back and forth trading money, but the last 2 weeks caught fire in basketball. First time ever we started selling hockey. I have a hockey expert, tracked him last year. He's off to a 35-20 in one start. And UFC kicked back up, and we've been red hot there. We had our biggest play, a 50-unit play on Juliana Pena a couple week ago, and she won as an underdog with a submission. So what I introduced is what's called a 1-week all access pass. And usually if you buy the Super Bowl, it's just $97 alone. $97 gets you the Super Bowl selection, top 10 prop plays, UFC card on Saturday night, fight night, NBA, college basketball, and hockey. $97 for 1 week. And what we do is we text you the games, usually before 1 o'clock weekdays and by 9 a.m. in the morning on weekends.
It's Christmas in February, right?
Right. I got to come up with a theme. We had Locktober, December to remember. So we'll come up with one for February.
I love it. You can go to Paramount Sports and learn more about that because I will talk a little bit about that with Lee. But man, he has been on fire. That is terrific. I love to see the percentages up the way they are right now for you. That's great. And this is always a fun one, isn't it? Because part of the fun with this game is not just the line and the total like we normally see, but there's so many props that are just intriguing into a Super Bowl matchup.
Okay. Do you have dogs, Steve?
I've had dogs my whole life till about 2 years ago. So yes, big dog lover.
Okay. So it seems like everyone I've talked to either has a dog or got one during the pandemic. Shelters were finally doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And they have a prop on dogs, over under dogs in commercials, 4.5. I'm taking the over. That's free money. So we've got that over. The national anthem. So they threw a monkey wrench. Did you hear it's a duet this year?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So I go to my daughter, she sings national anthem. She's in college and she's won 6 in a row. She said it's going to be a little bit tougher. The last one was Aaron Neville and Aretha Franklin. They went 2 minutes and 7 seconds. So I'm thinking Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan. I don't get it, how they're going together. And she's like, no. She came out of her room after an hour. She goes, Dad, let me tell you something. Even though Eric Church is country and Jasmine Sullivan is an R&B artist, she said both of them have extremely large ranges, which I was shocked of. She said both of them can sing high, and I've never heard this support. She says both of them have great breath support. So She said that she felt it's going to go way over the minute and 58 seconds. So we're
Okay.
going for win number 7 in a row there.
She's got a hot streak. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
You know what? Isn't it nice when you can keep it in the family?
Right. Yeah.
That's good.
So, they trust me, they'll be rooting for the game because they know a lot is running. I can have this is probably my third or fourth best season ever, 28 years. But if you lose the Super Bowl, your renewals for next year are down 15, 20%. You'll have guys tell you, I had one year, my fourth year in business, Steve, I hit 63% for the season. It's almost impossible to do that again. And I missed the Super Bowl, and we were contacting people, and they said, you lost for the season.
Man.
That's just, it's that mentality, whatever happened last.
Yeah, not to mention this game is bet on by so many people. There's so many different types of wagers versus just the traditional game, and there's a lot of money on this one. And I'll tell you right now, it's a field goal, right, with Kansas City by 3. I mean, this is a hard game to feel good about because on one end you've got the best team in the league in Kansas City and the best quarterback in the league in Mahomes. And then on the other side, you've got the GOAT who's doing it again, and he's in his home stadium for the first time in the history of this game.
Yeah, GOAT versus the baby GOAT. So, you got the GOAT who's won 6. If he wins, he's 7. Mm-hmm. The baby GOAT, what has he done? Only won 26 of 27 games. So when you figure out the prop plays for players, you got to figure out how is the game going to be played. And in the first game, Kansas City was up 17-0 after one quarter. I mean, it looked like, it wasn't even going to be a game. Now, Tampa made it close in the second half, but they only ran the ball 13 times. They threw 41 times. So my favorite prop I'm going to give you is over under Tom Brady pass attempts. It's 39.5. When they won almost every game and when they were competitive in his sweet spot, they throw between 29 and 35 passes. I think 39.5 is a little high. We'll take the under there.
I think that maybe they're figuring that they're going to fall behind again. And if they do, he's going to have to put the ball in the air a lot to try to get themselves back in. Do you think that's the rationale behind it?
Yeah, but they only threw 41 passes in the first game.
Yeah, and they were down 17-0. Yeah.
Yeah. They ran the ball only 13 times. So now I think their running back duo is really healthy and clicking. Leonard Fournette's playing the best he's played all year. Mm-hmm. So he, though, is at 51.5 total yards rushing. I think they're going to use more Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is more the home run hitter. And 37.5 total yards rushing, I think he's going over. He can break that in one run. Mm-hmm. They have him. And remember, Tom Brady likes to throw to running backs. Reception yards for Ronald Jones, 10 yards. He catches a pass for 11, 12, 15 yards. You're over right there in one pass. So I think he's going to dump it off quite a bit here. So those are two guys I like with Tampa Bay. And then on the other side, Travis Kelce. So I studied the last 6 games of both teams, obviously an emphasis on that week 12 game. And Tampa Bay's linebackers are great rushing the passer. They're great in space making tackles, but they can't cover anyone. I mean, it's awful. So Travis Kelce, I thought it was going to be 85 to 92 yards, the over-under. They put it at 100.5. I'm still going over. I think he has 120 to 140 yards receiving.
What about Tyreek Hill? Where do they have him as far as his over-under?
I was tracking it for a while. I don't think he's going to play as big a part in the game. I think they're going to double him. Mm. So, when a guy goes for 258 yards in the first game, I think he was at about 125, 130. I think they're going to try to limit him. So one guy I do like is I like Sammy Watkins. So when he played in the postseason last year, he hasn't played in the postseason this year. He did this year and caught 34 passes. In the postseason last year, he averaged almost 21 yards of reception. The year before, averaged almost 18 yards of reception. They have the first catch at 10.5 yards. I think he's going to go over that first reception, and 32.5 yards for the game. I like the over there.
Do you like to play the crazy props, or do you like to stick with the ones that are just more football oriented?
more football oriented. I'm never going to do, the coin toss or Gatorade, stuff like that. I mean, here, let me give you one tip though, through study, and I don't really do many of these at all, is they'll have, let's say, when Peyton Manning was playing, how many times will they show Eli Manning? How many times will they mention Bill Belichick? If you go under on all the ones you like, you'll usually be a winner.
Okay. So
they have them at a half, 1.5, just go under.
Okay. So that's the secret. On those exotic or the crazy ones, go under and you have a better chance on some of those. Okay. Well, I'll tell you this much. I think it's going to be a fun football game. I've spoken to so many people. Nobody really thinks this is going to be a blowout. Everybody feels like this is a game that's going to be close to the spread, go down to the wire, and have a chance to be another classic.
Could. I very well. I mean, it used to be when Super Bowl started, they were blowouts. And it's the last 10, 12 years have been some really good games. So looking forward to it. And if anyone wants to come on board, love to have them on for the ride. If you've been with us, you're pretty happy since football season and the pandemic, they lifted and they started allowing even the UFC to play. So just check us out, ParamountSports.com. Also, I do a daily podcast now. I don't know if you know, it's called Locked On Bets. And on the Locked On Network, getting a phenomenal response. Every day, I give out 3 or more selections. It's in 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
It's a wrong team favored, blowout special on my lock of the day. And the host is from Waco, Texas, and in Texas, and Q. And it's grown, just got bought out by a conglomerate that has 66 TV stations. So I'm doing 8 TV interviews today and tomorrow. So not just radio now, I got to do TV.
It's about time you start doing more media. I love the fact that you're going podcasting now. That's where you should be, to be honest with you. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned something interesting. At the beginning of this, you said, you're starting to do hockey now. You've got the NBA, you got college. Will you do Major League Baseball when that season rolls around in April?
I am.
Okay.
So same person that does my hockey is going to be doing baseball. Obviously, I look at everything he puts out and have to okay it. But I said it's 35, 20, and 1 in hockey. And I think 7 or 8 of his selections we lost in overtime. So, I mean, he's been on the money. We've had a couple totals, 4 or 5 totals that were like 5.5 or 6 or 6.5 that were over going into the third period. Those you love.
Definitely. I'm excited for you. ParamountSports.com, folks. And don't forget, the special right now is simply this. The Super Bowl, plus you get the top 10 prop plays and really a dynamite deal, $97. I don't know how you're doing it, Lee. That's just incredible to put it all together for just under $100. That's great.
Yeah. Well, and people are happy. And I know if they're happy, they're going to come back and they're going to tell people about me.
Good. Well, we're excited to have you back. Great to see you. Enjoy the game this weekend. And as always, thanks for coming on and giving us all the analysis.
I enjoyed it. It was a great year, Steve, being on with you. And why don't we do this? Why don't we reconvene the day or two before the March Madness tournament? Okay.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.